Greetings and God bless each and every one of you. This is Dr. DeJuan Jackson, and I'm here as the show host of Deborah's Voice. We're so excited to have another episode with you and to be able to share with you all this wonderful broadcast. Deborah's Voice Show is a show that deals with many different topics, from personal development to love to family to relationships to business to ministry things. We have so many different areas that we focus in on. It's a show that will empower you, that will uplift you, that will really uphold you and really educate you about things to become a greater person as a whole. So no matter what you're facing, no matter what you're dealing with, then we want you to recognize and to know that this is the show for you. So I want you to like this page today, begin to like it, begin to share it. We want to welcome all of you in. I want to say welcome to our broadcast. It's amazing, an amazing opportunity for you to be in our midst today as we continue. We've been talking about, in the month of January, we've been talking about growth, we've been talking about development, we've been talking about order, and so I know you're going to be tremendously blessed on today as we're going to be closing out this series of what we've been talking about. But listen, I want you to get prepared for February. Somebody say February. Ooh, it's going to be amazing. The month of February is going to be a great time. Why? Because February, we're going to talk about love and relationships. We're going to be talking about husbands and wives and spouses and dating and all of those things. You know, we're going to actually open up and have a question and answer session so people can ask questions. We're going to talk about the different age groups of how people date now versus how people dated back then. We're just going to have an awesome time in the month of February. So I'm going to be bringing in some wonderful people that are going to be talking with us and sharing with us on the show. Don't miss it, because it's going to be an amazing time, right? So go ahead and like this post, share this post, and also get yourself prepared for the month of February. You cannot miss Deborah's Voice during the month of February. Why? Because it's going to be amazing time talking about love and relationships. And who doesn't want to talk about that? That's the buzz everywhere we go, right? People want to talk about love and relationships. They want to know more about how can I get connected with a particular person or a particular relationship, or somebody that I like, or somebody that I want to prepare myself for, whether I'm single or whether I'm married. This show is going to be for you. Also, we're going to be featuring my book. And the month of February, my book, my latest book is The Misconception of Love and Relationships. And that book is going to bless you whether you're single or married. So we're going to be featuring that book. It's only $15. You're able to order that even ahead of time. If you want to walk along with us during some of the shows, you can order that. Just inbox us and we know that we can get it out to you immediately. So just inbox us or post, type right in the chat that you want to order the book, and we'll have one of our staff members reach out to you so that you're able to get that book. Listen, I'm telling you, today we're talking again about growth and development. We're talking again about growth and development. You know why? Because personal growth is so important. So on today, I want to take a moment. As we have welcomed you now, I want to take a moment to discuss about personal growth, okay? So personal growth on today, we got to make sure that all of us are prepared for it. Anytime we're talking about personal growth, we want to make sure that we're in the proper positioning. We want to make sure that we're in the proper alignment for personal growth to what happened. Because many times we go through life and our age changes, but our growth doesn't, right? Have you ever seen an old person who is, 60, 50, 70, 40, whatever, but they're acting like they're 18, 20, 25 or so? It's because they have not grown personally into a state of maturity or into a state of wisdom, right? They haven't grown into a state where they're able to fulfill what they need to go to become for a particular time in life, right? So personal growth is something that we all must must work on. We all must work on our personal growth, all right? So because it's the end of the month of January, I just want to give you some things to focus on, right? Because we need to have awareness, right? I need to have a specific awareness, right? And that's the first step to growth, right? And the first step to transformation. I have to be aware that I need to grow, right? I have to be aware that I need to be groomed to become greater, right? I have to be aware that I'm going to allow myself to step into another space to fulfill what it is that I need to become, okay? So growth is going to take discipline, right? This is the first month of the year, and so you need to have already, we talked about ordering your steps, we talked about ordering your life, we talked about putting things in perspective. So I want to say that you need to put yourself in position so that what? You're able to discipline yourself for that growth, okay? You have to discipline yourself for that growth. Put yourself in proper alignment, proper perspective, so that you're disciplined for the thing that needs to come to pass in your life, right? If you're going to grow, if you're going to mature, then that means you have to recognize that truth has to penetrate you. You know, many times when it talks about self-growth and personal growth, that we have to accept the truth about ourselves. Maybe you need to work on your personality. Maybe you need to work on your character. Maybe you need to work on your finance. Maybe you need to work on your relationship. Maybe you need to work on your parenting. Maybe you need to work on your inner emotional self. Amen. Maybe you need to work on multiple areas in your business life or in your job or in your career, right? Maybe you need to work on waking up earlier or spending more time in reading, right? So personal development, personal growth is so important, right? So I have to allow the truth to penetrate me, find the areas where my weaknesses are, and then begin to develop them, right? Because transformation only comes when you're willing to grow, okay? True transformation only comes when I'm willing to what? Grow, right? So when I understand that, I put myself in the proper perspective that, you know, growth happens when I say I don't want to live in this space anymore. So a lot of times the reason why people don't grow because they're comfortable where they are. But when you're willing to grow and you say, you know what, this is wonderful. I've been in this space for 1 year or 2 years or 5 years or 10. It's been good, but I have to be willing to let that place go for growth to manifest. Listen, it's like you're riding in an old car, right? And you're in that car and you love that car and it's a wonderful car. But then there's something new that has come out. There's something else, you know, more technology, more advancement that has come forth since you had that particular car. So guess what? In order to advance, or in order to grow, I have to let that one go, right? In order to get something better, something greater, right? To get the next level of transformation out of that particular car or even another model car. So it's the same in life. We have to have personal growth and development that transitions us and puts us in a place, right, where we recognize, listen, you can't live here any longer, right? So I've got to be willing to grow. I've got to take personal growth and I've got to put that in perspective to say, I don't want to live on this level any longer. I don't want to live in this space any longer. I want my character to be better. I want my life to be better, my quality of life to be better, what I'm able to do, what I'm able to perform, how I'm able to function. I want all of that to be better, right? I want my life to speak more volumes. I want to meet more people. I want to be able to be in a greater circle, a greater dimension of people. So this is very important, okay? Because if I'm going to have personal growth, then my personal growth will start with my mind first and then my level of exposure second, okay? My personal growth will start with my mind first and then my level of exposure second, right? So personally, I have to grow through my mind, right? Which means my mental state, right? So it's hard for us not to grow or to not grow if I don't develop my mind. There is no way I can grow. If I grow up in my body, but my mind never learns anything, then guess what? It's called retardation. So what happens is even after we become adults, we have to recognize that after we graduate from school or after we graduate from college or after we maximize, we become a doctor or we become a lawyer, or we become, you know, in a high status or a high level. Remember, that is only the sphere of what we have accomplished in that particular phase of life, right? So if I'm a doctorate, if my doctorate is in philosophy, then that means I've maxed out philosophy. If my doctorate is in theology, then I've maxed out that particular place. If I'm a doctor of medicine, right, that doesn't make me not have the ability to grow in other areas. So we could be a doctor in one area, but we still need personal growth, right? Because we need to be able to be exposed to another measure, be exposed to another space, be exposed to another place that will transition us into a realm that we have not been in before. So growth starts with the mind. So I have to continue to challenge my mind. And if I don't like reading, then I'm going to have to do something called Audible. You know, I love this because some people say, look, I can't read. I don't have time to read, or maybe you don't like reading, but Audible is just as wonderful, right? You can get the books now that you can get them read to you so that the knowledge is still being downloaded, right? So that you're able to grow and you're able to get mentally sound, okay, in multiple areas. So when we talk about growth, remember, there are multiple ways you can grow through your mind. You want to deal with your character, deal with your emotions, deal with, you know, if you're stubborn or you have anger problems or whatever the issue may be, you want to make sure that you deal with that, right? Because growth starts with the mind. So I have to be willing to expand my mind. And I also, number two, said I have to have exposure, right? So growth also starts with exposure. So that means I have to be willing to what? Make new experiences. A lot of times people don't grow because they're not experiencing anything new. So I can stay in the same mindset because why? I may not be experiencing new types of food, new types of people, new types of culture, just expanding myself, right? Giving myself the ability to have exposure to things, right? Whether it's, you know, horseback riding, whether it's an animal I need to be exposed to, you know, whether it's a location, a region, a territory that I need exposure in, right? So that I'm able to make a well-balanced decision and I'm able to mature to the next level, I have to have exposure. And so exposure is very important, right? From people from different backgrounds, people from different thought patterns, people with different mindsets. So I have to continually be exposed to that so that I can develop and I can transform and I can grow and make better decisions. Many times people don't grow because of lack of exposure. So if all I know is what I've been around in my community or my, you know, area that I've been groomed in or have grown up in, then many times it is difficult for me to grow because I have a mindset that only can operate according to what I've been exposed to. So I try to share with people that it's so important to have an open mind. It is so important to have an open mind, but that open mind first starts with reading. It first starts with hearing. It first starts with being open for what transformation to come. It first starts with an acknowledgement, right, that I need to grow. See, because really I can't have personal growth if I think I'm okay, if I think I'm already all right. I can't personally grow if I think I already know everything. I can't personally grow if I think that I've, you know, advanced and maxed out everything. Can I tell you that you will know the measure of how much you need to grow by your audience, those who are around you, those who are connected to you, right? So if people that are, you know, saying you're great and you're awesome, but these people are mediocre, how many know that mediocrity sometimes causes people to settle at a certain level, right? Mediocrity causes people to settle because they're saying, well, at least somebody is celebrating me, at least somebody's clapping for me, at least somebody is tolerating me. But I want you to understand that, you know, if you continue to grow, then your measure of influence will transition, and the people who celebrate you, the groups and the influence that you have and that you will develop will transition as you are open to the place of personal growth. All right. So you have to be willing, first of all, to have personal care. All right. You have to be willing to have personal care. Okay. So personal care, that may extend from anything to taking care of your hair, your nails, massages, stretching, exercise, diet, whatever that may be. Personal care is very important, okay? So anytime I'm talking about personal growth, we're going to talk about multiple areas of where I need to grow, right? I need to be able to definitely, like I said, read. Okay, I need to be able to read. So in reading, I need to make sure that I'm taking on a good book, right? Breaking yourself into spaces where you can open new doors on how you can get rid of those areas, right? It may be fears, it may be insecurities, right? So you need to read like even motivational, inspirational things, right? To help with some of the issues that you may be dealing with. You want to put yourself in the proper perspective that you're saying, I'm fulfilling the mandate that's on my life for growth. I'm fulfilling what it is that I need to do so that growth can take place. Listen, I want you to understand that you also have to be a person that takes action. If you're going to grow, write this down, type this for those of you that are watching, right? You have to be a person that takes action. You have to be an action taker, right? So, you got to recognize that sometimes you may have to do things afraid. It may be uncomfortable for you to go into a setting where you meet people that you don't know. It may be uncomfortable because you're not a person that breaks the ice, right? So you have to learn how to take action. You have to step in and make sure that you're not going to be fearful to speak to people, right? Fearful to break out and to talk and to have conversations, right? So when you take action, then basically you face your fears, right? That have hindered you from growing. So be a person that's a person of action, right? A person that understands that, listen, I have to grow. And in order for me to grow, I'm going to have to take literal steps. I'm going to have to be in position for literal steps to be taken for my transformation. So yes, I need to open up my mind. I need to be exposed, right? I need to make sure that I'm reading. Then I also need to make sure that I'm taking action. So I cannot just give excuses to say I want to grow, but I'm not willing to do what it takes for growth to manifest. Listen, in this time and this hour that we are in, this is the greatest time and season to grow. We're in the midst of a pandemic. We're in the midst of many things that are taking place as transitions and changes in our world, in our life that are happening. So this is a time for us like never before to be in a place where we begin to say, I'm going to grow. I'm going to take the time to develop my personal self to become better, right? I'm going to take the time to develop what I need to do to become better. This is so powerful because not only do I need to take action, but I need to be willing to watch, right? I need to be able to watch things. Now, this is very important because a lot of times when we use entertainment, we look at things for entertainment purposes, right? We use entertainment to laugh or to cry or whatever, but when we're talking about personal growth, we need to watch shows that may be documentaries, right? We need to watch shows that may be enlightening, watch shows that can help us grow, right? Watch shows that can help maybe our financial literacy, watch shows that can help us be empowered so that it can transition and develop us into something greater, right? So everything shouldn't just be an entertainment moment, right? Everything shouldn't be just something that tickles you for the moment, but it should be something that you watch that empowers you for development, that empowers you to become better, to become greater, to become more. So that's very important. Anytime we talk about development or personal growth, we want to make sure that we're watching things that are appropriate. Now, it's powerful because you have YouTube today, you have all of the, Amazon Fire Sticks, and you have Facebook, and you have all of these different ways, regular cable. You have, so many ways that you can watch things, especially for those of you that are very visual. So these documentaries and these things that you can watch can help your growth. It can expose you. If you're going to travel to a particular place or a particular country or a particular city, or go back and watch some documentaries on them. You want to learn about a particular's life. You want to learn about how they grew, how did they become what they became. So you want to watch their life story, find out more about them, see how you can advance your life through watching someone else's. What mistakes did they make? What places did they have to be determined in when they fell? How did they get back up? These are all ways that we can grow by watching another person's documentary or watching something that can help us to be trained, right? Watching self-help videos that can teach us. You can almost find anything on YouTube now. Look, you can fix your car. You can learn how to, do nails. You can learn how to do hair. You can learn how to make clothing. You can learn how to do shoes. People have, videos on any and everything. So whatever area that you feel like you want to grow in, relationships, friendships, parenting, there are so many areas that you can grow in, right? You want to become a chef. They have almost everything possible that you can watch and become better in. So this is very important, okay? Also, we want to say that we need to remember what I said. It starts in your mind and your exposure. Then you're going to make sure that you read. You're going to make sure that you take action. You're going to make sure that you watch things, right? And then also you're going to make sure that you diet properly, right? Eat good foods, okay? Diet properly. Make sure that you know that food has a dramatic impact on how you feel. Okay, so sometimes you cannot grow and propel yourself into the space that you want to simply because of what you may be eating. Maybe too much sugar, too much sweetener. There's so many chemicals in our food, right? And they have a surprisingly powerful effect on our body, right? Our body getting out of sync, our body getting out of alignment. So it hinders us from having the energy we need. It hinders us from going into, places of maturity. It hinders us from functioning in the way that we need to function in. And so sometimes the way we eat, right, can hinder our growth. So even in our eating, we have to learn sometimes to replace one particular thing for another. Or we have to, we know that we can't just do it all at once, but we have to learn how to go through the process and say, I want to grow even in my diet, even in how I take care of my body. I want to grow in how I think. I want to drink more water. It could be something simple. I want to replace this particular drink with that. I want to change myself and get myself off of this particular thing. So even in your dieting, right, if you want to grow, you want to be able to have a prosperous and a wonderful life, right? You don't want to get millions of dollars and you're growing in the financial side, but your health is declining. You want to be able to have good health and prosperity, right? You want to be able to have manifestations on multiple sides. So you have to make up in your mind, right, to be persistent for development and for growth, right? You have to make up in your mind to be positive. That's my next point, to be positive. So you have to have positivity, right? Instead of thinking something negative all the time, think of the positive things. Okay, so you got to consistently think of something good, something positive. When you see something negative happen, think of something good. When you see something bad happen, think of something good. When you think of things, you say, wow, this is crazy. You got to think of something positive. Counter-react that with a positive thought, right? Cast down any, negative imagination or negative fear that comes. Somebody's always speaking, what if this happens? What if that happens? No, speak positive, right? Change your language. Positivity is like a law of attraction. When you speak more positive things happen for you. More positive things come for you. More positive things are in operation because of your language, right? So speak good, speak well. Imagine yourself being successful. Imagine yourself, being a wonderful person, greeting people, speaking lovely things, taking the time to interact with people. If you're an introvert, then try to speak to one or two people. You may not be speaking to crowds of people or thousands, but speak to somebody. Open up your mouth. Say, how you doing today? It's a wonderful day. I'm doing good. Begin to transition yourself. Be positive, right? Positive in your perspectives as well. Okay, so we want to make sure that we also journal our thoughts. All right, so I told you first, right? Growth starts with mind and exposure. I'm just rehearsing everything. Then growth starts when we read, right? We're able to read, whether it's audio or whether it's, a physical book. Then we have to take action. Then remember what I said, we need to watch things, right? Watch documentaries, watch YouTube, watch different things that'll help us grow, right? Then you got to diet and exercise, right? Eat properly. Make sure that you're in position so that the fulfillment of what needs to happen can happen, right? Then next thing you need to do is what? Be positive. Okay, make sure you're positive. And then the next thing you need to do is journal your thoughts, right? Journal your thoughts, your expressions, your goals, your dreams. Journal all of these things. Put these things in perspective. Put these things in alignment so that what? Your mind can be open for growth, okay? You want to make sure that you're in position, right? Make sure that you're putting yourself in the proper alignment. I'm telling you, my life has been changing and your life can change as well. It's all about the ability that you want for growth. It's about you focusing on personal growth, right? Can I tell you this? Don't always look at people around you, because everybody around you may not necessarily want to grow. Everybody around you may not have the same goals and dreams and ambitions that you have. So that's why you have to focus on personal growth for you. You have to focus on personal growth for your understanding, for your development, for your betterment, right? Because why? You want to grow, and people that don't want to grow will begin to fall out of your circle. They'll begin to fall off, right? So don't grow based upon your friends, but you have to have a made up mind, okay? So that you're going to take these steps for what? Personal growth, not group growth, not friendship growth, but personal growth, right? So it takes a lot of effort and patience for you to grow. Okay, it takes a lot of effort and a lot of patience for you to grow. So anytime you're going to grow, then you have to look for specific things that will bring specific results. All right, I know my time is getting low. Listen, this is very important. Look for specific things that will bring what? Specific results. This will bless you. Specific things that will bring specific results so that you can be encouraged, right? Say, listen, within this month, I want to accomplish this particular thing, and make sure that it happens within that particular month. Why? Because you're seeing progression. You're seeing yourself grow. Then you're seeing and you say, wow, it happened. And you're able to work towards that particular thing. You're giving yourself a time frame, right? You're giving yourself a space for advancement and for growth, right? So that you can become who you want to be. Can I tell you something that's very important? That you should never settle in your life, right? Don't settle in your life. Many times people want to settle for where they are. Many times people want to settle for a particular place, right? But you don't have to settle for that place. I want to tell you, it's your ability. You have the ability to grow. Your personal growth is not based on anybody else externally, but your personal growth is what? Based upon you. It's not based upon your children, your husband, your friends, your family. Your personal growth is based upon you. So you literally have to take the time out to say, listen, I'm investing in myself, right? I'm investing in what I want to do. I'm investing in where I want to go for 2022. Wow. You got to make an investment to say personal growth. This is where I want to go. This is where I want to be. And every month you want to make yourself aware. Remember what I said about awareness. Make yourself aware that this month I'm going to accomplish this thing for personal growth for me, not for anybody else, right? Take care of self, right? Pamper yourself. Make sure that self is cared for so that what? You don't settle for mediocrity. Okay? Don't settle for mediocrity. Make sure that you say, listen, I'm going to be the best version of me that I can be. I'm going to personally grow, which means I have to take the time to develop myself to become who I want to be. If you're sad about who you are, then take this lesson today. Take this teaching today to say, I'm going to what? Personally grow. All right? Not looking at everybody else. Personally, I want to grow. Personally, I want to what? Advance. Personally, I want to become all that God has called for me to become so that I can propel myself into the place to fulfill exactly what I need to fulfill. So on today, oh my gosh, it's been such an amazing lesson. I know that this lesson has touched you because it touched me first. This is something, amen, that is so dear to my heart. This is something that I want want to see people grow. I want to see people become the best that they can be. I want to see people advance, right? And that's one of my biggest goals, is to continue to personally grow, to become better, to become stronger, to become more. And when you have to be determined, you can't look at other people and say, well, other people are relaxed and other people are doing this. You know, you got to be willing to say, listen, this is what my desire is. And so when it's your desire, it fuels something on the inside of you. Even when other people don't want it, because you want it, you're going to grow. Because you desire it, your life will change, and it'll change the lives of everybody that's connected to you. They'll see the difference. They will see your growth. They will see your transformation. They will see your change. But they will also recognize that it took discipline, and it took, amen, an effort continuously for that growth to manifest. So on today, I just want to say thank you to all of you that have been consistently watching Deborah's Voice. I know this month of January has been a month of personal growth, a month of order, right? A month of development. We've been talking about ourselves because we want to be greater. We want to do more, and we want to become more. And so I want to personally encourage you, take this lesson, share it with somebody, like this teaching on today. Make sure you go onto our YouTube page, right, and subscribe now. Tell somebody, subscribe now. There are so many teachings, so many tools from the spiritual side to the natural lessons that are being taught that will advance and elevate your life. So go to our YouTube page, which is Apostle Dr. Dewan Jackson, and make sure that you subscribe, because you're going to be blessed abundantly by all of these teachings through the Deborah's Voice show, as well as some of the other platforms that I teach on. You're going to be blessed. So I want to encourage you, continue to have personal growth. Have a blessed day.